Hey guys, Aileen here from Homegrown Happiness. Welcome to March's video and like the weirdest time ever in the world at the moment. I'm sure that needs no explanation. Everybody will be feeling it. I'm going to make this video kind of as not normal because it's not, just the same as I kind of always do it. I want to just do a bit of a garden update, talk about what's been going on and show you what's been growing. I will say though that I have been spending heaps of time in the garden and at home, obviously, as I'm sure many of you are. I'm feeling really lucky to have a garden and have such a nice area around me to explore there's not many people around, and it's just, it's a really nice place to practice social distancing and still be really connected with nature, and that's where I find all my joy. So feeling very grateful for that. So I'm going to start off with a bit that I filmed a few weeks ago at the end of February, where I'm clearing out my bottom garden by our front door. We had like a pumpkin patch there, and it was time to clear that out because the pumpkins were all getting powdery mildew and downy mildew, and I harvested a few and then the rest had to go, and except for a couple that are still ripening. So I cleared it all out and did it like a little bit of weeding. Really, just the soil is so friable and nice there, so it's a matter of just kind of like rubbing my hand over it just to displace the weeds. And then once that was cleared, I put on some new compost and horse manure full of worms and full of goodness, and I just spread that on. I also had some leaf mold still. This is my leaf mold pile where I add leaves on every year, and I will again soon in a few months' time when all the deciduous trees start dropping their leaves. And leaf mold is awesome as a moisture retainer and just a soil conditioner and a mulch, whatever you want to use it for. So I just added that on as well. And the grass is getting a little bit long here. This is the only little patch of grass I have left, and it's not even grass, it's heaps of dandelions and plantain and cat's ear and things like that. But I decided to mow that and then use that as well as a mulch, and there's leaves on there that have been blown from around the neighbourhood, so they will add some carbon while the nitrogen comes from the grass clippings, and just makes a really good all-round mulch. And the chickens then had a good scratch. Picked up probably a lot of the worms that were put down, poor things. So I left that for a few days, and then I planted out some of my Asian greens. I first spread on a little layer of compost just to make the layer a little bit thicker, higher to plant in, and then I covered those with netting. I haven't covered all the brassicas with netting in my garden, I don't have enough netting, but I did cover these ones. And here are some broad beans that I saved from last season, and I'm just going to plant those around. And then I also sowed a green crop then that has peas and some vetch and a couple of other things that'll just keep that soil nourished and busy and active over winter. And this is about 2 weeks later. They've just grown heaps, and it's just looking nice and lush and green because we're still getting rain, but with the odd day of sun as well. And then coming over here to my little golden peach tree, and I've got a little guild planted around that, as you'll see, which is just a whole bunch of beneficial plants that work together with the tree. But I have a little watermelon here, and I'm hoping that that still has enough warmth and time to ripen and get a bit bigger. Okay, next to that was my corn patch, and I have been harvesting the corn. There's still some corn left, but most of it is gone now. Just been harvesting that and chopping it down. And then there's some empty spots here now where other things have been cleared, and I've just been popping in more brassica seedlings because we're like running out of time really to get that kind of stuff in so that it's a decent size by the time the sun really drops and gets really cold. So if you have space in the garden, get your brassicas in. I've also put some cooler endive here. So this no dig bed was made not that long ago, and it was so full of worm castings and manure and compost and all that, so it doesn't actually need any addition. Like, it's fine to have this second crop put in it. This is about 2 weeks later. I think things are looking healthy and the squash are ripening. And then I've just got some things in buckets as well, like my ginger and some mesclun, a couple of bok choy seedlings. And then coming over to the other front garden, that is still lush and green and messy. I haven't done much clearing in here yet because we're still harvesting, and I'm just kind of just waiting for things to ripen and things to be ready. And I have, however, in the spaces that I do have, kept planting brassicas. And then here in the middle of my chili and my kumara, I found an exciting discovery. My turmeric has sprouted, so I put turmeric tubers kind of everywhere in the garden, and so I just planted them everywhere and just decided to see what they do and forgot about them. And so now I saw this pop up and I was so excited because it's actually been months. I will have to protect that though when the frosts come, and I'll see if I can nurture it, or maybe have to dig it up and replant it in some pots and keep it in a warmer space. Then in my middle garden, this is my messiest garden for sure. I have not even tried to clear this one out for a while. I have a couple of squash, celery, carrots, and beetroot, peas in between some more brassicas, and leeks. And then here is my tomato jungle, and that is just so messy and everything has mildew and it's just looking a little bit worse for wear, but still producing, and I'm just not even bothering to tackle it. I'll just see how many ripen, and once the weather really starts to get colder, I will take off all the green tomatoes and see which ones will ripen on my bench. And coming up to the top garden, so this is my bean archway where I harvested heaps green, but majority I'm leaving to mature so I can harvest them as dried beans. This is a borlotti bean. I love these, they're beautiful and delicious. And then here is my little flower section where I readily let things self-seed. Like anytime something has gone to seed, I will just sprinkle it out because I want this full of flower. And then I've recently remulched this area, and I've got some brassicas up here under netting, cauliflower, broccoli and cabbages, and some Brussels sprouts, and they were put in back in December, so they should provide for us over winter. And then down here I have some more broccoli and some cauliflower. These ones aren't netted, so I'm just checking them, and I'm also using some organic caterpillar control, which is just a bacteria that is toxic to caterpillars but not harmful to anything else. So these are my Brussels sprouts that were started in October from seed. So that's how early I have to start them if I want Brussels sprouts in winter. Small kumara here. So the kumara I will harvest either when the leaves start yellowing or when the risk of frost is here, whichever one comes first. And then this little messy bit, I have kale and asparagus and some more beans and coriander that's gone to seed and broad beans and lots of other things in there. And I have been recently saving a lot of my herb seeds or other things that have gone to seed where the whole plant is edible to then sow as microgreens, because I really want to do more of that in the winter. And then that means you can harvest something fresh, and that's great for if you don't have a garden or you haven't had time to get things in the garden. Microgreens are a way to quickly get some fresh produce. And so I've been saving my coriander seed and my parsley seed because I wanted them to become the microgreens because I have so many seeds available. But then I found that they, one, take quite a while to germinate, which is not what we really want with microgreens. You want them to be fast. And then two, I wanted to actually not just harvest what was in my garden, what I'm growing, but kind of see what's out there again, what's wild that can be used as microgreens for people that again don't have gardens and don't want to go out there and buy seeds. I went out and looked around my local area, and the first thing I went and got was some wild fennel seeds and some wild carrot seeds. But the seeds are super easy to collect. Just snip off the umbel flowers and take them home. And then I also went and got some mallow. I went to the beach with my mum the other day and we went and collected, I went and collected, she had to just come with me, some mallow seeds, which also readily self-seed and is an entirely edible plant. I've just added these to my coriander parsley microgreen tray, and I'll just see which ones germinate the fastest, because the parsley and the coriander do take like a week at least to germinate, which is not ideal if you want quick microgreens. And I'll see with the rest. I did soak the carrot and the fennel seeds in water first before putting them in for about 12 hours to see if I could speed things up. But yeah, not sure yet when they have come through. They haven't yet. And then the other seed that I went and looked for, but I don't have it on video, are some wild radish seeds. And I was most excited about them because brassicas do germinate fairly quickly. But I found that the seed pods of the wild radish, every seed was really tightly encased in the seed pod, so it's really hard to actually remove them. And I found them at different stages, even very dry mature seeds, and they were still extremely difficult to remove. So I don't know if that's, it wasn't really worth it trying to get the seeds out. But I'm still on the lookout now for some wild rocket or a couple of other types of wild brassica, which maybe the seeds are easier to remove than others. And I'm yet to try my plantain seeds and dandelion seeds that are everywhere in the garden. But the point is, the challenge was to go find seeds, free, wild, invasive species that people don't want. You may as well take the seeds from them, stop the spread, and get some benefit from them at the same time. And so that's what's going on here. And so for the rest of the time and for the foreseeable future, this is where I'll be. Just hanging out here and walks around the local neighbourhood and exploring the bush there and seeing what's growing. I hope you're all doing okay, and even though we're all physically distancing, hopefully we're not mentally distancing and still keeping in touch with each other. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.